like overwhelming. All right. Got our thing there. Got our thing there. All right. Whew. How was your day?
It's wonderful.
Oh, that was loaded. Okay, so tonight we are going to talk to you guys about communication. And we're real excited about this because this is something that we are ever learning, is how to communicate better with each other. And so because of our history and everything that we've been through, we wanted to talk a little bit and hone in on communication that heals. There's a lot of hurt that's out there. Whether if you've gone through what we've gone through, which is, with the affair and the hurt and the pain of that. Sometimes it's the hurt and the pain of, the spouse choosing their family over the other person. It may be hurt of speaking meanly and the tone. And there's just a lot of different ways that we get hurt in communication. And because communication is the backbone of a relationship, if we don't learn how to do it correctly or understand the importance of it, the marriage is doomed.
Mm-hmm. Can we lower the music a little bit?
Yeah.
It's putting me in a different realm.
Oh, wow. Okay, so tonight's focus is how couples actually hear each other. I know for us, there's times when we'll be in the kitchen and I'll say something and I won't mean anything by it, but it'll come across quite hurtful or mean or short. And something was happening today in the office, and I was overhearing a conversation. I'm like, man, that just sounds really hard. It sounds really, and I knew the context of the conversation, and it just sounded harsh to me. And so I was just thinking, man, that's something that I wanted to make sure that we hit on tonight, is the tone, the tonality of how we say things. Because I always make fun of my wife, how wonderful you are. We always make fun of her, how there's times where we'll be talking with her and she'll be telling us something, blah, 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 and then the phone will ring and she'll pick up the phone and it'll be like a totally different person.
Same with you.
Hello?
I think everyone's guilty of that, so tone is everything.
So James 1:19 says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. And that's really important because there's a lot of times where things come up and we react right away. And when you're talking about relationships and with your spouse, there's been times that you said something to me and I'll turn around and I'll snap at you because I didn't like what you had to say or something to that, and my tone was bad. So we're working on that. So, but where I want to kind of start is I want to ask you a question. And I want you to be real honest and open. I know that, sometimes you want to hold back a little bit. I want you to really speak your mind tonight. These people out there want to hear the truth. So both of us, we're going to speak our minds. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So have you ever felt like I was hearing you, but not actually understanding you?
Absolutely. So in my mind, I'm thinking you're understanding because you're going, okay. But you're not grasping what I'm saying. And I think that's for both ways, but because hearing and understanding are two different things. So.
And what is that? What are the two different things?
Well, hearing is just you're hearing it. Mm-hmm. You're hearing a noise. I hear you speak, but it's not being understood and grasped and So I guess you could say like you're not fully present and paying attention because you're not understanding. You're just listening.
Yeah.
And that's two different things.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you would say that being present in the conversation is key?
Yes.
Well, what other keys are there into understanding or what somebody's actually saying?
Being open and receptive to what they're saying. Not quick to judge and quick to answer, but really listening.
Mm-hmm. What about in those times where it's a point of contention?
What do you mean?
I mean, what happens when the subject that is being spoken about is not something that either I would want to talk about or you would want to talk about, or it's a hard subject, or it just causes a fight every time you talk about that subject? What are some keys that you would say to people to kind of help break the ground so that there are moments of actually listening?
Timing is everything. So don't try to talk about something with your spouse that's important to you, but they're in a different headspace. They're in the middle of something or whatever. But finding that right time. And I have done this before where I've gone to go talk to you, and it's just like, it's almost like the Holy Spirit's like, just wait, hold on. And then I do, and then I'll just be like, okay, I feel like this is a good time. So, and then you can also be like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. You are hard to do that with because you're like, what? Tell me now. What is it? I can't wait. But if you said that to me, I'd be like, okay. So I would be thinking and prepping and ready when I come into the space to receive and listen. What about you?
I think lowering my guard is important. Yours was timing. Mine is lowering your guard, because I feel like whenever people come together and want to talk about something, everybody has their point of view that wants to be heard and understood. So we're fighting for that. So we come with our dukes up, ready to hear, but we want to defend our point of view. So I believe if we put our arms down, if we just relax and actually listen to what the other person's saying, instead of trying to beat to the punch or try to get ahead of the game, but seriously sit down, be present.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
And sit down and actually really try to understand, with the goal of not pushing your point or pushing your perspective, but actually trying to receive theirs.
Putting the phones away, putting the watches away.
Nice. This is one of her pet peeves, is when we're at dinner and all of a sudden it goes off and I have to look at it like I just did, and she's like, "Are you here? Are you here?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm here. I just needed a quick second." But when you're really wanting to have that conversation, it's always good to maybe take it off or put the phone in the other room so that you're present and ready to go.
What does it feel like to be misunderstood in a marriage?
Frustrating. It feels so frustrating. When I am trying to help you understand something that I'm feeling, and you're just not grabbing it, or you just took it completely the wrong way, it's very frustrating, because my initial thought is, what's wrong with you? But what I've learned to do is, what's wrong with me? I miscommunicated that. I did that wrong. I need to take ownership and responsibility for not communicating correctly what I was feeling. So if I'm feeling misunderstood, I know that I need to take a step back and come at it from a different angle in order to be understood, so that I'm not frustrated and it escalates into a massive argument. What about you?
Frustrating for sure, but I think it can also make you feel alone because you're like alone because your spouse is not understanding. So it's like, you know, how can I make you understand? I have all these feelings and thoughts and you're not on the same page with me. So it can make you feel alone.
Yeah. So communication breaks down. Why do you think communication breaks down?
Because there's no understanding. But you threw me for a loop for that one.
Sorry.
Can you turn my mic down a little bit? I'm hearing myself breathe. Okay. Go ahead. What?
Why do you feel like communication breaks down?
Because there's no understanding and there's no receiving and there's no what's the word? Unity in the communication.
So do you think most of our arguments were actually about the issue or about something deeper?
Majority of the time it was probably about something deeper because, I mean, if you're arguing about something, there's always a root to it. So the issue could be something so petty, but it blew up into this whole big thing. But there's really something deeper going on that is causing you to lash out and act that way and get angry for no reason.
So if there's something deeper going on in you and I come to you and we start to argue, what can you do or what can I do or what is a mechanism that you can put in place or people can put in place to understand and see faster that it's not the issue that you're talking about, it's the issue that's deeper?
I think you should answer that one. Wow. I can't remember what you just said. That was a long question.
So what mechanism can people put in place, or have you found that you've put in place for our arguments that you find that we're arguing about something deeper and not the issue at hand?
To walk away.
And
take a breather, walk away, regroup, and be like, what are we actually talking about?
Yeah, when Andrew and I were doing that interview, Don't Feed It or Don't Feed the Dog, he said something about when he and Jocelyn get to talk, and he says that when they come together, she preps him and says, hey, I have something I need to talk to you about later. And he's like, okay. And when he's ready, he comes in, and when the situation becomes a little bit more than he can handle mentally, he's like, okay, I'm going to need a minute. And he goes out. And when he said that, I'm like, man, for me, that would be very, very difficult to do, to be able to disconnect from the argument or disconnect from the situation.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be an argument. It can just be, talking about something.
Right. But to disconnect from it and then come back to it, it's like there's something in me that always wants to plow through. I gotta fix this right now. There's no time like the present, so we got to fix it right now. So pulling away and leaving it for a second, letting it simmer and letting my mind simmer and just relaxing for a second to gather myself is very difficult for me.
Yeah.
For you, I don't think it's not hard at all. No. You're like, I can put pause anytime I want.
Well, yeah. It's easy for me to be, and sometimes I actually need just let me process. So that can be a contention between us because you're like, no, now, and I'm like, no, later.
Yeah.
Just wait. So.
Yeah. It's difficult. How often were we reacting instead of actually listening to each other?
It depends on the conversation. So, I mean, if we're in an argument, we're always just reacting. But there's been times where we're listening. I think we've grown into that about listening to each other.
But when we were in the crux of the stuff, when we were trying to rebuild, how often do you think we reacted to each other versus actually listening?
Probably all the time. Because I was angry, so I reacted. You were angry.
The underroot issue.
You were reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were talking a lot, it was just reaction.
Do you feel like it was more raw back then?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like it's as raw now, that we're as raw with each other now?
Yeah, because I think that we learned how to do that back then. That was really uncomfortable for me. Because I was like, wow, we're going to go here, huh? And then I realized it's okay. It's okay to be raw. It's okay to be real. It's okay to be vulnerable.
What was that switch? Why was that switch?
Why was the switch? I had to. We were trying to heal. We were trying to get through because we made the decision to fix. So it had to get raw and real. It wasn't easy to hear either.
What were some things that were not easy to hear?
Oh, just details. I'm not going to go into specifics.
Come
but
on.
Like, no. But I mean, when you're trying to fix something and you're being vulnerable to me about things that you had done or whatever, that's raw and real, and that's as raw as you can get. Hold on, I'm going to ask you one now. What role did emotion play in how we communicated?
At first, I don't think it was emotional at all. So it was emotionless.
When we were going through everything?
When we first started.
Like in marriage.
In marriage. And then we grew apart because it started to fall apart because of my mindset and the way that I took things. And so the emotion had to leave in everything for me to be able to live the double life. I mean, I'm sitting there, I was leading worship at different times. I was a pastor on staff at a large church, and I had to really take the emotion out. It's just, when you look back at it, it's like, man, the grace of God, the goodness of God is just so amazing, because he still moved in the midst of my stuff, in the midst of me having an affair, in the midst of me knowing what I was doing was wrong, and I just blatantly did it anyway for self-gratification. So, and to know that he still allowed me to minister, and he still moved, because I remember people come up to me and say that, I felt the Lord when you were singing this. I got healed in the back of the sanctuary when you were singing this thing. And I'm thinking, wow, that's really cool. And I still have the anointing. Praise God, even though I knew that I was doing something wrong. So in order to keep all of that going, I had to shut off my emotions, and I had to shut them off towards you. I guess because I did that, it made us grow farther apart and made me dive deeper into what was actually happening. But then when everything came out, I was still emotionless because I was so upset that I got found out, and I was living this lie and trying to keep the lie going so that my world that I had created would remain. So when I finally let go and I allowed the emotions back in, and then we started to communicate, the emotions were a vital to us communicating properly, because I had to be real. I exposed the most inner parts of myself to you. And because I did that, all the emotions started coming back. So then I started talking more emotionally with you. And yeah, I don't think you can be as raw if you don't have emotion. So I think emotion plays a very significant part in communication, especially when you're trying to rebuild and trying to take the relationship to the next level or deeper, if you want to take it that way. What about you?
I don't think I ever went without emotion. I think emotion was definitely a part of our healing and communication, because there was no way I could hide my emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have not had as much emotion maybe in the beginning when we were like newly married,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just hard for me to communicate anyway. So yeah. But I mean, it can run away with you if you're too emotional.
Right. Yes.
You know, depending on the situation, obviously,
Yeah.
you know, you can't get emotional about everything.
Right.
But then, yeah.
So what I love about this is that when you start to talking about the emotional side of things, it helps us realize it's not just about the words that we're throwing back and forth between each other. That's not just the communication. It's the heart behind what we're trying to communicate. It's the emotion behind it. It's the feeling. It's more than just the words. I know that there's a lot of marriages out there today that they come home and say, "Hey, how was your day?" They tell each other about their day, and they think they communicated. And that's it. That's the level of communication in their marriage, and that's it. And they wonder why they feel dry, and they feel they wonder why their intimacy's down. They wonder why the spark's dying. They wonder why they feel like they're falling out of love. They feel like they're roommates. It's because the depth of the conversation isn't there. You want to be close with somebody, be real, be open, be honest, share your life, share your innermost things openly with your spouse. And man, you'll see all of those things start to come to life. The spark will return, the intimacy will return. The communication is such a foundational thing in the marriage or in a relationship that if you overlook it by one iota, it really throws everything out of whack.
So how often were you forming your response while I was talking, while we communicated?
I always formulate my response. I have always done that because I always get accused of I don't know how many times I've been told that I should have been a lawyer because I'm always formulating a response to anything that happens.
Why do you think you do that?
It's a protective mechanism. That's what I've learned about myself, is that I protect myself by trying to be steps ahead. I'm so paranoid that when I know that I'm in a room full of people and we have to take turns reading, and I count, if everybody's reading a verse, I'll count ahead to see what verse I have to read. I'll read through it at least once or twice before it gets to my turn, so that when I'm reading it out loud, number one, I don't mess up in my reading. Number two, I feel like I understand what I'm communicating. Number three, I feel like I need to be ahead in order to be equal with everybody. So when I'm in a conversation, I know that I'm doing the same thing. When you're asking me these questions, you know, I see them and I want to answer them. I want to get a good answer. So I'm thinking ahead way before. And in an argument, I'm already, it's almost like playing chess. I almost know what you're going to say before you say it. And I have my response ready to go so that I can beat you.
So how are you being present if you're doing that?
You're not. You're not being present unless you throw the curve and react differently than what I anticipated.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that you don't know that I'm going to do that. So you're already thinking of your response. So are you really listening and understanding what I'm saying?
Most of the time when you're doing that, no. Because if the move ahead of you doesn't go as planned, then you have to think faster on your feet. Therefore, you did listen, but you're not listening to hear, you're listening to rebut. And when I'm listening to rebut, I'm in the conversation for the wrong reason. I'm in there to win. I'm in there to be understood and not hear and understand.
Wow.
Huh. Some of the stuff we're talking about, she's hearing for the first time, because...
I mean, I know you.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Yeah. Do
Hearing
you get tired doing that? Like, it makes me tired just listening to you go through the process in your head. I'm like, golly.
Sometimes it is, but a lot of times I enjoy it. I like the fact, I like playing chess. I like trying to outmaneuver people. I like, it's a game. So,
Wow.
it's challenging to kind of stop and sit back and be like, you know what? Nope, this isn't the time for that. It's not the time for games. It's a time for seriousness and understanding. And that's what the Lord's really been laying on my heart is learn how to understand. Learn how to listen. Be teachable again. Sit back. Be teachable again. Sit back in humility and be taught. You don't know everything. So relax and allow me to work and allow me to teach you. And sometimes the way that he teaches is not what I want to hear or how I want to hear it. Especially sometimes when it comes from you. And I'm sure it's the same thing when it comes from me. Sometimes it's like, it's the Lord sitting there saying, hey, there's some correction here. And it's like, man, I don't want to hear that. But deep down inside, you're like, man, I know I needed to hear that. I really need to work on that. So be honest. How often do you form your responses while we're talking?
Not as often as you.
But you do.
When I'm really mad.
Oh.
I do.
Okay.
I try to. Yeah, I mean, if I'm really angry, I'm looking at probably ways to like hurt you. So I'm thinking ahead of that. Otherwise, no, I'm not thinking of my response. Because I just don't think that way.
Why are you wanting to hurt me?
Because I'm mad at you. I'm not saying it's right.
But why do you want to hurt me?
Because with you, I feel like you push so hard sometimes and are just like at me and at me and at me. And I'm like, you know what then? Those are not good things to do.
So that's a what not to do.
So, but yeah, only if I'm mad that I'm like thinking of something ahead. But otherwise, no, it takes me. You know me. I'm a thinker and I have to process.
Yes.
So I'm not usually thinking of my response.
Yes, I'm the microwave. Amber's the crock pot.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, what's the difference between hearing words and understanding the heart?
What's the difference between hearing words and understanding the heart? The difference is words are words, but heart has emotion attached to it. So I know we were talking about this the other day, and when we were talking about the difference between words and heart, you were saying something like, because you know the person and you know, like I know you, you know me, and the heart behind the words. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, you can tell when someone's being totally like real with you and authentic, and when it's just words. I don't know if that's a good answer, but what do you say?
What's the difference between hearing words and understanding the heart? I I think you hit it right on the head. I think that words are words, but the heart behind what they're trying to communicate could be totally different than the words they're using. And I think that sometimes we need to be careful. And like I always say to the girls, to our daughters, I always say, words matter. Your words that you choose, they matter. Because what you're using words for, they're a tool to express your heart. So I think that in a marriage and in a relationship, we need to learn how to communicate our hearts better. Because the words are separate from the heart. The words are the tools that the heart uses to communicate. So if I'm a horrible communicator, probably my vocabulary is bad. I don't understand the words that I'm using. I'm saying them incorrectly. The tone is all messed up. So my heart is being misunderstood. Therefore, I'm being misunderstood. So the difference between them is the trick is making sure that they mesh and they work together.
Because out of the mouth, the heart speaks.
Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Yes. Out of the mouth, the heart speaks. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
You guys get it, right? You guys get it. So it's important. I really want to stop there for just a second because I want you to chime in on this because I think something really awesome is going to come from you on this. Because understanding, I asked this to Andrew the other day when we did that live the other day, last week. He said that, wow, that just left. It just left. Oh, no. He said that when you're communicating, you need to, oh man, it just left. It was so good too. Guys, go back and watch that because that thing was fire. Every question I asked Andrew, Pastor Andrew Lamb, it was a mind-blowing thing. But your heart needs to be right. You need to understand how you're feeling. I asked him, how do you understand how you're feeling? And he admitted about going to a therapist and that he used to be ashamed to say to people that he was ashamed to go to a therapist because he had a hard time communicating his feelings. And so there was this circle thing that he had to go through, and each word would lead to another word to help him understand so that he could describe his feelings correctly to his spouse and just in life in general. And I thought about that, and I've been thinking about that for a while and even during this question, it kind of was in the back of my mind, just thinking how poorly we communicate our words to communicate our heart. And I think that it's so important for us to take time out of our life to maybe withdraw, to understand how we truly feel about things before we start shooting off our mouth about something that maybe we don't even care about. We're just in the mood to fight. You know? Because I find sometimes that's the case with us. There's some times where she'll say something to me and she'll be really, strong on the point. And to me, honestly, I just don't care. But you know what? I had a bad day. And you know what? You're not going to say that. I don't want to do that. Why don't you want to do that? I don't know. I just don't want to do it. And it just blows up from there. And there's just no reason. What do you think?
I think you're right. But were you going to ask me something?
No, I want you to. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's true, and it's right on. I know for me, you know that I have a hard time expressing like my feelings and getting them out in a way that makes sense. And a lot of people have that. Mm-hmm. So realizing what you're feeling and processing what you're feeling so that you're not saying stupid random stuff that's going to cause a fight.
What are you doing now to help yourself process your feelings when something is not adding up and not computing?
I just have to pray. I have to have, I have to pray. I'm like, because I'm like, I don't understand. I know I feel off, but I don't know what it is. And I've had that a lot, I've told you, something feels off. I don't know. And it's just being attentive to the Lord and listening.
Describe that off, because I think that, people out there may feel the same way, but they may describe it differently. You just feel off. What does that mean?
I don't know. I can't put words to it, but it's like something doesn't feel right. Something is not lining up. Something feels uncomfortable. Something feels out of sorts.
Now, is there a situation that happens when you feel that, or can you just be sitting at your desk working and feel that?
Sometimes I can feel it just sitting at my desk, and sometimes I've noticed for me personally, I feel like I will feel that way before something's about to happen. Like a big change or something's off, or even if someone in the house is like, their mood is off, and I don't know fully what's going on, I'm just like, man, something just does not feel right. So, of course I'm going to put on worship music and just pray, but yeah.
That's cool. When did you start realizing that listening was more important than being right?
When I realized that it doesn't go anywhere when you're trying to be right. You're never going to accomplish anything. You may be right, and but if you're fighting to be right and needing to be right, you're not going to go anywhere. It's not going to fix anything or accomplish anything. You're just going to be on that merry-go-round constantly until someone waves the white flag and surrenders. So
I've always hated the expression or the phrase that people have always said, you may win the battle, but you're going to lose the war. I'm like, because in my head, I'm thinking, dude, if I win the battle, if I win enough battles, I'm going to win the war. But you could win every single battle and still lose the war. That was a major wake-up call for me to understand that being right isn't always great. It's sometimes compromise is the best thing. Sometimes not having your way. If somebody says that the sky is red, I saw this. I read this a long time ago. I don't know why it just popped in my head, but there was a lion, and he was king over the what is it called?
land.
Yeah, let's say land. Land. Yeah. The Pride Land is what I was going after, because I was in Lion King. I saw Lion King in my head. So you got the lion, and he's sitting up at the top. He's king over all. And there's this goat that walks up, and he's telling everybody the sky is red. The sky is red. And this bird comes up and says, no, it's not. It's blue. It's blue. And what was the other animal?
We are on a roll tonight.
Yeah. The other animal, the goat says, no, the sky is red. The sky is red. And they get into this argument. And the king lion is standing right there. And they both turn to the king lion. And the bird's like, can you please tell him? And the lion says, you know what? If you feel the sky is red, the sky is red. And so the goat goes off all happy. And the bird looks at the lion and says, Your Majesty, I can't believe that you said that the sky is red. It's clearly blue. He says, you and I know that. But what difference does it make for him? It's a moot point. It's not going to change anything. So there's a lot of things in life that we'll argue over that will not change anything. So being right isn't always good. It's just allowing things to happen, and understand that sometimes being right isn't going to change the situation at all. Did that make sense?
I think so.
Oh, man. Oh, babe. Oh, babe. Oh. You're the next question.
How was your day today? That wasn't the question. How does trying to win an argument actually damage connection? Which I think we kind of covered.
We did, but I'll say this one, that when I'm going to be real open here for a second, okay, babe? I'm sorry, but
Be nice.
I will be nice. So for me, sometimes the day goes not so good, and not so good for you, and we come home. And we both kind of need time just to kind of simmer. Let the day fall off, you know? And we'll talk about the day, and maybe something else will pop up, and we're going to be upset, not at each other, but just at the situation, just at life, because life is just going. And so we're sitting there. We're two people sitting on the couch, and we're just simmering, right? Mm-hmm. In my mind, I'm thinking, I want this to stop because I want to be with you tonight. And we've already talked about it, that we were going to be with each other that night. And so we're sitting there, and I'm just sitting there going, man, I just hope that she simmers down. I hope I simmer down, because I know that when things are not, if we're not seeing eye to eye, if we're upset with each other things are not going to happen.
Uh-huh.
So that is a very important connection that you need in a marriage. So in that way, it's very damaging. Why are you laughing?
I don't know. Okay. You're right. Oh, it's true.
It is true.
It's true.
I know it's true. But on the other side of things, when the argument, when you try to win an argument and you're going at each other, you are going to feel, like you said earlier, alone. And there's something that severs the relationship. There's something that blocks any type of closeness, intimacy. It blocks anything that you want to have happen that brings a cohesiveness. It starts to actually pull apart because you go to your corner, I go to my corner, therefore we are separate. Instead of trying to work it through, dance through it together. Why are you laughing?
I'm smiling.
Yeah. So, okay. So here we go. Let's talk about tone, timing, and delivery. Have we ever said the right thing but in the wrong way? Have I ever said the right thing in the wrong way?
Yes. Yes. I can't think of an exact example, but it's the tone. I know I do it, and I'm guilty of it. I'm the worst, probably.
Let's give everybody an example of the wrong tone.
Okay. Well, if you ask me a simple question like, what's for dinner? Spaghetti! That's a tone that doesn't need to happen.
That's a tone and an attitude.
Yeah. Bad delivery, bad tone. Because I'm frustrated with something else I'm doing.
I'm gonna ask. I hope there's some gentlemen on here tonight. But if you've ever asked your spouse, if you ever asked your wife, actually, I'll do this both ways. If you've ever asked your spouse, your husband or your wife, a question, and they respond to you as if you've asked them 4 times already, but it's only the first time, put a 1 in the chat.
So I don't feel alone.
So that's the kind of tone that it's like escalation, and it's like, wow, I know that I only asked this 1 time. You know, I'll be like, hey babe, have you thought about what's for dinner? And she'll turn and maybe just turn and say spaghetti. And it's like, Okay. Was that the 5th time I asked? No, it was the first time I asked. And so it's important for, number one, for the receiver to basically be like, okay, there's something more underneath that. But it's also important for the giver of that attitude and tone to understand, hey, there's some ones. To understand that, hey, you know what? That was the first time. I'm annoyed at something else, and maybe quickly turn around and be like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, that wasn't meant for you. Mm-hmm. I'm really frustrated with XYZ.
Right. Right. That makes sense. Yeah. So how much does tone affect how something is received?
Well, it affects how you receive it, because you could tell me something really great. We're going to go see blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And it causes questions in my mind, because I'm like, she didn't sound happy about that, but it was a happy thing. Mm-hmm. We're going to go see Charity Gale. Aren't you curious? Yeah. What do you mean by that? Yeah. Instead of, hey, guess what? We're going to go see Charity Gale.
Right.
I mean, the tone is so important. Yeah. It's, I read this one book a while back. It was called The Secrets of Body Language. And it said that 20% of what you communicate is actually through unspoken word. And it's your body language. And your tone is like another big thing. So the words you use versus the tone you put on it, it's all different, and it all contributes to how you're communicating. So all of us need to respond in a way that is very not mean. It helps.
Out of the mouth, the heart speaks.
That could be taken a bad way, because
exactly. So if your heart is not right because of something that happened that day, it's going to come out. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. So that's why we live by the word.
That was good. When is the worst time to try to have an important conversation?
I know that you've been dying to answer this.
Yes.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to answer it. Go ahead.
I don't know. I got to think about it.
No,
I got to process.
You know.
Right before you go to bed.
And why is that, Amber?
Because there might not be any connection.
And what do you mean by that?
I know that you wouldn't wanting to talk about this, so.
So, I'm going to get really real here for a second. There was a time in our marriage where we had to, especially when we were rebuilding, that we had to, I was tired of saying, when are we going to be intimate? I'm tired of guessing. And when we were meeting with Andrew and Jocelyn, Andrew suggested you need to talk about it, and it's okay to schedule it. And so I was like, I don't want to schedule that. It's like, because I want the passion. I want the, you want the romance of it. And if you schedule it, it's kind of hard to, because it could be a disappointment if you schedule it. You work all the way up to this thing, and it's, it's time, and it's like, oh, well, I ain't feeling like it. And so, but there is a part of that was that we took to heart, and it is talking about it. Me expressing my needs to my wife, saying, hey, I'm kind of in the mood tonight. Can we plan on this? So when we do that, I get ready in the mood, and I'm like, I'm ready to go, and we'll be laying there in bed, and the lights are off, we're ready to go, and she'll ask one question, one simple little question, And that one question, if I know that she's looking for a certain response or she's wanting a deeper answer than what I'm willing to give at that moment, but I know if I give the small answer or the one to get by, it's going to lead to more questions. So in order to answer the question properly, I know it's going to maybe raise the emotion, not in a good way, in the room, so that we won't be able to be intimate, because now we're talking about something very serious. We're talking about something that just takes your focus completely off of intimacy. So to me, that is the worst possible time to have a major discussion.
Agreed. Thank God. I never disagreed.
No, I know.
But it's like, we're just laying there and I'm like, man, I want to talk to you right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So what does...
No. I'm going to ask you this, because I think actually this is good for you. What does it look like to pause instead of react? For you, because
for me, it's extremely painful to pause instead of react, because I feel like I react pretty good, but I react much, much better when I pause, because I'm able to think through it. I'm able to probably try to understand their side. I take the emotion, the heat of the moment out of it. So I'm able to think a little bit more logically and maybe understand a portion better. So what does it look like to pause? It looks like biting my tongue. Sometimes literally biting my tongue, to allow myself not to lash out irrationally. So that's what it looks like for me, because it's hard for me to leave the room, because I want to be in the moment. So I'd rather take all of the stuff and bite my tongue to not respond and react, so that I can come up and formulate my response. That's something that I've learned to do. What about you?
Well, I mean, it's easy for me to pause, but I think for people like you, that is a struggle. It's sacrificial, and it's a very selfless thing to do when that's hard for you to pause and not just react.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes you have to do that.
What's the one thing I used to do in communication that made it harder for you to open up?
You always made me feel like it was my fault, and I was the problem.
So I was winning the battle?
Yeah.
But losing the war?
Yeah. So there was a lot of blame shift. And
otherwise known as manipulation. I knew what I was doing. I knew that I was manipulating you in those situations to see things my way, to hear me, to take it on as your fault. I was trying to, because the shame was heavy. And so I was trying to get you to share the load.
What about me? What's one thing I used to do that made it hard for you to open up?
For me, it was your I don't want to say unwillingness, but your lack of communication, your lack of coming back at me, your lack of fighting me. Because I was looking for a fight. I was looking for you to come back. I was looking at you to even say something, anything, and you wouldn't. Because you're a crockpot. You were processing. You were listening. You were hurt. You were all this stuff. So in communicating, it felt one-sided a lot of times because I was coming at you. I had all this stuff because I'm already in my head. I'm thinking 10 steps ahead of you, or so I thought, and nothing. So it was really hard to communicate. So it made it extremely frustrating and irritating as anything to communicate with you, because it was really, 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 really hard.
So obviously I had to stop withholding, but what else did I have to change for us to start communicating better?
Just share your feelings, because I felt like, and I always used to say this to you, and I say this to you now, is don't make me pull things out of you. So when you start to open up and you start to share your feelings, it's easier, obviously, to communicate with somebody that's actually communicating back, because you want to know what people are thinking when you're talking with them. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? If so, why? How do you feel about that? And if you have nothing to say in return, it's like, so for you, you started to open up. You started to communicate. You started to come back. You not in an argumentative way, but in a sharing way. You started to open up and say, you know what? I feel hurt. I feel frustrated. I feel angry. And at first it was like, okay, end. But I had to understand that those words were much more weightier because that's what you were saying. You didn't have to describe the anger. I'm angry. I had to be like, you know what? That's enough, because her saying that, because she had so much trouble expressing that emotion or that word, it's weightier. So I had to come to grips with I'm angry is worth 1,000,000 of mine. I'm angry, because I have no problem saying I'm angry, and I'm angry because blah 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 blah. The more words I have to use to describe it, it diminishes the word. So understanding that, and you sharing that, even the little bit that I got, and understanding all of that, really helped me see that we started to communicate a lot better. And that's what really changed for us. What did I change for us to start communicating better?
I think I said this last week when we were speaking, but there was a vulnerability that came over you. And I could actually tell that you were listening, or trying your hardest to listen and understand, and not but you, but you, and telling me what I did wrong, or, well, I wouldn't have acted this way if you didn't do this, that kind of thing. That diminished. And so I felt more comfortable to share my feelings and say, I feel angry, I feel hurt. And also there was a thing that, like, I always felt like you were going to get mad. And I don't know what that stemmed from, and why I was worried about it. I don't like people to be mad at me. I don't want to make people mad.
Is that why you follow all the rules in the world?
Well, you're supposed to follow the rules. I didn't want you to be upset with me. I didn't want you to be mad. So I would withhold how I felt or what I thought a lot of times, because I didn't want to fight. I didn't want you to be mad. And I don't even think in the beginning I realized that you were the manipulation, and I would be like, no, it is not my fault. But I just was like, I didn't have the fight in me to, and I didn't know how to come up against you to be like, listen. So, But once that vulnerability came in and you actually softened and actually were like, I want to hear you, I want to understand, then that shifted everything.
What would you say to a woman that their husband or their spouse right now is not coming across as, the humility is not there?
Well, you can't change anybody.
Mm-hmm.
All you can do is pray. And yeah, you have to pray for your spouse. Pray for the conversations you have. Pray for how it's going to come out and be received, and pray for their hearts. If there's no humility, all you can do is pray for their heart, that it would be softened and it would be they will receive.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't change anybody. You can't change me, I can't change you. God can change you.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's really important, because I believe that there's a lot of people that are getting ready to be married and they're like, oh, I can change that about them. I can help them. They'll change. Or some people have been married for a while and it's like, I'm working on them. I'm working on them. The joke is, I got them trained just how I want them. I got her trained just how I want them.
no. The only way you can change them is by lifting them and surrendering them to the Lord.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's...
Because that's what happened with us. Like you said, you prayed, you surrendered me to the Lord. We were going through our stuff. You knew what was happening. You were very aware of the situation. You chose to fight for the marriage. You knew that there was hard work to go into it. And the only way you could fight the battle was on your knees. The only way was to open up the Word and spend time with the Lord. The only way was to lift up your voice in your hands and say, you know what, Lord, I just surrender everything and I give you my husband. And because you did that, and because that's how you fought the battle, the Lord and the Holy Spirit did a work in me to soften my heart, to bring humility in. Because man, I've talked to some of the old choir members over at my former church that, they sit down and I'm like, man, I was a little jerk. Just a little a-hole. I was. I thought I had arrived. I thought there was so much pride that was inside of me. And I look back at that guy and I'm like, man, I don't like him. And that was me. I was like, man, how the heck did you fall in love with that? Why did you fight for that? And now, because I see what the Lord's done in my life, I see how I see things now. I understand what the Lord's done and what He's broken off of me, and the freedom that I'm walking in now. It's like unbelievable, and it's all because you did something so simple. Surrendered it. You prayed. You fought on your knees. So. And because you did that, it set the course for us to be able to build and to communicate again. Openly, honestly, raw, without any hidden stuff. And because of that, the relationship is fantastic. So, what are you still learning about how to communicate with me?
Well, I'm still learning to open up. There's always that shell that tries to come over me and that makes me want to hide. And I'm still learning that it's okay. Even your reactions are okay and what you say is okay, because I worry about too much what people think. But for me, I'm still learning to open up. And put words to what I'm feeling.
How are you doing that in a practical way?
Sometimes I just have to say it out loud. And then I'll be like, no, that's not what I mean. And then I'll be like, it's this. Even if we have to talk for an hour, and I'm like, no, not that word. No, I'm just kidding. But just talking it through, and even talking it through without even trying to explain how I feel. I understand how I feel. So we're just talking in conversation, and you'll ask me questions or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. That right there, that's what it is. So just the constant communication and remaining open and sharing.
Yeah.
Not withholding.
The key for me, though, is that when we're communicating, I really have to take a stance of, I want to understand you. Because if I don't, I'm going to run with the first thing you tell me and not try to dig for more. To really understand, what did you really mean by that? And being open and honest about saying, well, when you said that, it made me feel this way. Well, that's not how I meant it. That's not how I meant it. And so I said that wrong. And having that, giving each other grace in the conversation to basically be like, you know what, I'm not going to say this right. I'm going to get it all messed up, but I need to get this off my chest. So bear with me and help me work through this. And in doing that, you're going to see a bond, man. You're going to see, because I notice it with us. When she's going through something and I start to ask questions, I start to dig deeper, you can actually feel us coming together. You can actually feel us moving and thinking and operating as one to figure out what's happening in that moment. Do you feel that? Especially, because there's been a lot going on lately. And so when we talk, there's a bond and there's a tight knit there. And man, it's
just like your relationship with the Lord. The more you get with him and share with him how you're feeling, and he's downloading in you, that bond is being made. Yeah. So what does it feel like when communication is actually healthy? It feels great. You feel there's a freedom in it. There's an ease.
Clean.
There's like, I can't wait to talk to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you feel together. You said unity. Unity. You said unity. Unity is a great word for that, because it really brings union to the relationship. And when you're walking in a healthy relationship, you don't feel alone. You feel like it's the two of you versus the world, and nothing can there's nothing you can't overcome. You got $2 in the bank account, nothing for food, pantry's empty, gallon of milk is gone. And it's just the two of you. You could face the world as long as you're communicating with each other, and it's healthy. It's really beautiful. How do you know when you're being heard?
Well, I mean, a practical thing that you do is you'll always repeat back. So what I heard you say is... And I think that's super helpful. I don't do it as often. Maybe I should. I don't know if it would help you. But it helps me, because then you can repeat it back. And I'm like, oh, yes. No, that's not what I meant. And so I'll say it again. But also just simple things like you're attentive. Your phone's away. Your watch is away. I have your undivided attention. And we're looking each other in the eyes.
Yes.
Then I know I'm being heard.
Yes. I was going to touch on that. I think that the focus with the eyes is something that I feel like we miss a lot, because we think that we can be heard. I'm listening.
Yeah, that drives me absolutely crazy.
I'm glancing over at you, so I'm paying attention. But my focus is divided.
Yeah. I stop talking.
Yeah, I know you do. But that's something that I really love to do. And, not.
What? Look on your phone?
No, I love to look into your eyes, you weirdo. So when we're, I love looking into your eyes. So when we're at dinner or we're talking, and I like to sit across from you so that I can look right into your eyes when I'm communicating with you, because I feel like when you look away, I miss you for a second, and I want you to be locked in, and that way I feel and I know that I'm actually being heard with every little. You're watching my facial expressions, you're watching my body language, you're listening to me, you're hearing what I'm actually trying to say without saying the right things, because you're here. And that's how I know I'm being heard. What changes for us when we slowed things down?
In what ways slowed things down?
So when I hear this question, what changed for us when we slowed things down, I automatically shift to Arkansas.
Okay.
And the reason why I shift to Arkansas is when we moved, we sold our house here in Florida, and we moved up to Arkansas to be a part of what was going on with Pastor Chris Garcia at Father's Glory and House of Glory. And we uprooted our family and we went out there. And everything was much slower out there. We're used to the hustle and bustle of Orlando, the theme parks. There's restaurants galore. There was so much to do. And you get out to Fort Smith, Arkansas, where you're in nowhere. No offense. It's just there wasn't anything there. There was a few restaurants. You had to drive an hour or two just to get to any type of civilization that you were used to, coming from Orlando, Florida. And so it really slowed us down. And so what I found that we started to do a lot more of was sitting and talking, sitting outside, enjoying the time together, maybe taking a drive through the wilderness and just being with each other. And what it did was it formed a closer bond for us, I think. Yeah. Because we didn't have anything else.
Or anybody else as far as family.
Yeah. So we moved away from family and all like that, but we had to really rely on each other. Because we didn't have all the distractions. Mm-hmm. We didn't have the theme parks, Hey, what do we do? Let's go to the beach. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. Let's go to this dinner. Let's go over here. And you're just going. And all of a sudden, you didn't have any of that. So you got to focus on each other. And so what changed for us was that I felt like we were more attentive to each other.
Yeah. So I think that was our situation. What is a good practical thing to do to slow down is be intentional with your time to communicate.
Yeah.
Set aside time in the evening or on the weekends, or, obviously you should talk every day, but actually be intentional about your time.
Yeah.
And set and put everything away to have it. It doesn't have to be a deep, serious conversation, but just talk and be together.
Yeah. I love that. What does it look like to respond with understanding instead of emotion?
Softness was the first thing that came to my mind.
I like that.
So responding with understanding looks like grace, softness, gentleness. Because if you're understanding, it's not going to be a harsh reaction, because you're understanding and you're getting it. So there's I can't think of the word, but connection, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a soft answer.
What's the Bible say? It says a soft answer turns away wrath. It's the best. It's the best thing to do when you're feeling like you're being attacked or misunderstood, is to be soft. It's so opposite of what we feel like we need to do to be understood and to get your point across. But in reality, you're winning. You're being more like Christ when you come at it soft like that. When you come at it hard, all you're going to do is escalate the situation. But we have to remember that not only just in worship, but in life. That's why worship is an act of, we're all about living a lifestyle of worship. You want to be the thermostat in the room, not the thermometer. So I always used to say that when I was leading worship, but when you are the thermostat, that means you're setting the temperature. So even though somebody comes in hot, you're the thermostat, so you can bring the temperature down. You can bring the room down and set the tone. If somebody's yelling at you, it's okay. Bring the temperature down. I'm sorry you feel that way. What can I do to help you? Soft, understanding. That really helps a lot. What's one simple rule couples can start using today to improve communication?
One simple rule. Well, I'm going to go off of our ways. If that person needs to walk away, let them walk away. Just being selfless in the conversation of whatever that person needs. If I'm the one that needs to talk to you and you need to have a moment, I will let you have that moment. What about you? Is that the right answer? Is that my answer?
Unbelievable. You're so weird. You're so funny. You just...
What about you?
And what about me? One simple rule couples can start using today to improve communication. Ask questions. Ask more questions. Ask why.
That's good.
Why do you feel that way? What made you feel that way? What can I do better? Humility. So the rule is ask more questions when you're communicating. Dig a little bit. This is your life partner, and they deserve the time, the effort to be dug into. I mean, if you're not going to dig into your spouse, then, who are you going to dig into? Who else is worth that? But the person that you're sharing life with. So ask the questions, ask the hard questions. And sometimes the hard questions for some people is why? Why do you feel that way? How did I make you feel that way? Can you explain that to me? And I'm not being any type of way. I really want to know. I just want to know. And then sit back and be like, you know what? I need to change. There's things in ourselves that we need to change. And the only person you can change is yourself, not the other person. So for the betterment of the relationship, a lot of times you have to take the high road or the low road to basically be like, you know what? I am going to look at myself, to use this to change myself, to be more like Christ. Not in a way that I'm going to take the high road, low road. I'm the better person here. So, and then so I can throw this back at your face later. That's wrong. The motive's wrong there. But when you take the true motive of, I want to better myself, I want to be a child of the Most High King, I want to be Christ-like, I want to be a true Christian, so I'm going to use everything that's being thrown at me to better my relationship with Christ. So when you ask the questions, that's the motive behind it. That's the understanding that you're trying to dig into. That's the betterment for the relationship.
That was good. It was.
Thanks, babe. Next.
What would happen if couples just paused before responding? I think we kind of touched on that.
Yeah, we did. There's be a lot more less arguments.
Yes.
A lot less arguments. How can someone create a safe space for their spouse to open up? Ooh, come on.
Showing that you are receptive and vulnerable and ready to receive what they have to say. Don't have their guard up. Come at them gently.
Mine's really simple. Schedule time. Focused time. No TV, no music, no watches, no phones. This is a time where we're going to maybe go sit in our backyard because it's nice and quiet, nothing but crickets, and we're going to have a conversation. Or go into the bedroom or the closet, if your closet's large enough.
Or take a drive.
Go
park somewhere.
Yeah, because you want the full attention. You don't want to be driving. So go park. Go take a walk. But schedule time to be in a place where you can open up and be vulnerable and not allow the things around you to change your attitude or your perspective, but be open and full of humility to really learn each other. Because James 1:19 says, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak. So taking that time to walk away, taking that time to set aside will allow you to be swift to hear and slow to speak. What would change in a marriage if both people actually lived all of this out?
There would be a stronger bond, stronger unity, peace, freedom, joy. Because there may not be joy and happiness in the home if the communication's off and it's a struggle and a battle to communicate.
I want to say this, and I hope I'm not getting judged by this next comment that I'm going to make, but I get sucked into TikTok sometimes, and as I'm scrolling, there's some things that come up on my TikTok feed. One of them is about how has your significant other lost interest in you. This is how you get her back. This is how you get that back. And there's the pheromone colognes that are out there. There's all these other things, these gimmicks that they're giving you. And I guarantee you, if you follow some of the things that we've learned about communicating correctly and being open and vulnerable, you won't ever have to look at any other remedy to fix your relationship. There are relationships, there's a lot of talk about sexless marriages right now because of infidelity, because of all kinds of different little things. But if you're wanting to fix things in your marriage, intimacy being one of them. I promise you, if you learn how to communicate and humble yourselves to one another, your intimacy level will go from a 5 to an 11. Your understanding, your ability to fight through and work through different situations will go from a 5 to an 11, because you're not going to be doing it alone. So the whole point of tonight is work in communicating for healing. We all need to be healed. We all carry our own stuff, things that we were growing up in, things that were instilled in us as little kids. How we respond and how we react to different things, that was embedded in us as kids. And now you're joining yourself with another person that has all of their own suitcases and stuff that they were embedded with. And now we're supposed to live life together. The only way through that is to communicate and share all of that baggage that you maybe not even know that you carry, because it's just normal for you. So when you start to share that much, that intimate with each other, man, I swear to you, there are so many things that are going to change in your marriage that you won't even recognize you guys anymore, the two of you. So
it's good.
So with that said, I think we're going to bring this to a close tonight. We've been going for quite a while. If you have a question, go ahead and type a Q in front and we'll try to get to it. But if you ever felt unheard in your marriage, whether that be physical or emotional, I want you to type listening in the chat. If you've ever felt unheard in your marriage, type listening in the chat. If this is something you're working on, we're with you here. We're working on it too.
Yeah. I don't know if we opened up with, in the beginning, we don't know it all.
No,
we're just sharing our experience, our road to healing and restoration that we've walked, and our experiences and what we've learned. So we don't claim to know it all or have all the answers, but we have come a long way.
Yes,
by the grace of God.
By the grace of God. Any questions? You see anything on your end? We're just going to wait here for just a second. All right. 15 more seconds. It's going to feel like a lifetime. All right. Well, yes, Lord Jesus.
You are worthy of it all.
And I pray for your anointing to fall. We give you the glory and honor. We lift up marriages to you. Those marriages that need healing, I pray for healing and restoration. Would you bring unity and wholeness? We just bless them in Jesus' name. We give you the glory.